Hello everyone, my name is Ellison Stancil. I want to thank y'all for coming and listening to my story. Has anyone ever wondered how much traveling is entailed when you join the military? If so, you probably have some of the same questions I had when I enlisted. I'll be telling you guys about my experiences that I had over the course of 9 years with the military. I look forward to illustrating the traveling aspects that I had, such as training stateside with my drills and military duties, and my deployment, and a little bit about where I traveled after that. When you think of your 18th birthday, what do you think about? My 18th birthday was also my first day of basic training. After enlisting in the United States Army, I was told by countless people that I'd get to travel the world, you know, see and meet all these different people. But my first stop was Fort Benning, Georgia for basic training. That went on for about 9 to 10 weeks. In which case, after that, I would go to AIT where I'd learn my job. Again, I thought I'd get to travel all this, but instead I took a 3-hour drive a little north of Fort Benning to Fort Gordon, Georgia, and stayed there about another 10 weeks. And I thought to myself, when do I get to see other states, you know, travel other places? But 5 years would go by until one drill weekend in Fort Gordon, our commander locked us in a room for about 2 hours and then came in and broke the news that we were getting deployed to Afghanistan. After that, things really picked up. Our first stop was Orlando, Florida, where they did a yellow ribbon ceremony for the families and got everyone pretty much on the same page. After that, it was off to California, where I had never been, to a fort called Hunter Liggett. We stayed there about a month, doing some training, getting everyone up to speed. Again, we were a reserve unit, so had to travel lots of different places. We came home, and then that was the last time we saw our families before we went to Fort Hood, Texas. We stayed there about 2 months, but in between that we would drive to New Mexico at White Sands, where they actually set the atomic bombs off, and stayed there probably 3 months, and then it was off to Afghanistan. So we boarded a commercial flight from Fort Hood and flew into Germany, and that was the first country I'd ever been in other than the United States. And we didn't get to go travel around Germany. It was only for I think a 48-hour layover, but I do remember the vending machines served liquor, which was something I'd never seen before. After that, it was off to Manas in a country called Kazakhstan, and that was where basically that was your transient base, I guess you call it, before you go into country. Stayed there for 2 weeks, and then it was off to the main show, which was Afghanistan. Stayed there for about 10 months, and then after that it was off to back home, rather. So the last country that I got to visit was Italy, where we had another 48-hour layover, and again didn't really get to see much other than the inside of an airport. They did not have liquor vending machines like Germany. So after that I came home, and I was promoted overseas. So I guess, I don't know if you'd really count it traveling again, but my unit was moved from Greenville, South Carolina to Atlanta, Georgia. So I had the privilege of driving down there once a month for my last 2 years in service. Like I said, my travels in the Army, they may have started slow, but after deployment they really sped up. I got to go from one side of the country to the other and then halfway across the world. I guess everyone's military travels will be different. but you're almost guaranteed to go places you've never been and meet people you wouldn't have otherwise met. I'd like to thank you guys all again for listening to my story.
Too kind, too kind.